Hello and welcome back to the You Love to See It YouTube channel. My name is Jake, and this is going to be the first video of a series I'm going to do that's going to all drop before opening day. And today we're going to go over the Zips projections for every single player on the 2024 roster. Some of them will be in groups like the bench players and the bullpen and whatnot, but otherwise for the main starting people, we're going to go through them one by one. So this is the first video of this entire series. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps me out a lot. I am almost to 200, so get me there. I would appreciate it a lot. And you could drop a like as well. That's also free and helps the video. I'm recording this while I have COVID, so if I sound nasally, I am sorry, but we're going to get through it. This is my Michael Jordan flu game this whole series, but we got this. So pretty much how these videos are going to work is I'm going to go over the 2023 performance for all of the players, and we're going to look at the 2024 projected stats through Zips. And then afterwards, I'm pretty much just going to give you my opinion on how accurate I think those projections are going to be and what to look out for from that player for this season. And if you don't know what Zips is, it's a software made by Dan Zimborski. You can find him on Twitter. Predicts players' future success based off of underlying metrics. What are those metrics? I don't know. I'm not that smart. However, I think this is a fun exercise, especially now that opening day is approaching pretty fast here. I wanted to do this so we can get a good insight into every player that we are going to be seeing a lot of, hopefully, through the 2024 season. So the first player we're going to talk about today in this first episode is all about La Piedra, our ace, Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo, look. Swing and a miss, struck him out.
2023 was a pretty decent year for Luis Castillo. He had a 14-9 record in 197 innings pitched, a 3.34 ERA, 3.4 FWAR, 1.10 WHIP, and 219 strikeouts. He ended up being selected to the All-Star game, and he finished 5th in Cy Young voting in the AL. Overall, Luis had a pretty decent year. At the end of the day, he ended the year in 5th in Cy Young voting, so can't really be mad at that. But he did end the year pretty rough. From March 1st to August 31st, he had a 3.01 ERA, and September he had a 4.96 ERA. So a bit of a shaky end. I know we were all kind of disappointed, especially in those crucial games of the last series where he struggled. So the biggest issue Castillo had last year was he was giving up the long ball quite a bit. He gave up a total of 28 home runs, which is tied for about 8th most in the major leagues last year. And he ranks 12th in home run per 9 with a 1.28 rate. Just a little bit behind Logan Gilbert, actually, which is a bit surprising. I just felt like I didn't really realize Gilbert gave up that many. He didn't have as good of a year as he did in 2022, where he went 8-6 with a 2.99 ERA. To be fair, he did pitch 47 less innings, but still, he was our ace at the end of the day, and he's the guy that we wanted to go to in those pivotal games. He may not have gotten it done very well, especially towards the end, but you know, we can only hope that next year that changes. And that's where we lead into the 2024 projections per Zips. They have him at a 12-8 record, 190 innings pitched, 3.27 ERA, 4.2 FWAR, 1.12 WHIP, and 202 strikeouts. This would put him in 4th in ERA in the whole league, only behind Jacob deGrom, Shane McClanahan, and Brandon Woodruff. It would put him 7th in the league in FWAR and 2nd in the American League. And he would be 9th in strikeouts in the MLB and 5th in the AL. This looks like a potential Cy Young winning season. Now, we don't know how Garrett Cole's going to be. He's obviously going to be the favorite going into it to potentially repeat. This is a pretty big jump up from 2023, especially in the FWAR category, having him go up basically by 0.8 wins. And he slightly improves an already pretty good ERA. Now, how do I think Luis Castillo is going to do this year? I think he is going to do just about this. At least that's my hope, because this would prime him for a very potential Cy Young winning season. I do think it'll help a bit that we will have Bryce Miller and Brian Wu more steady and available in the rotation. Hopefully that takes a bit of the pressure off of Castillo to have to be lights out every single time he comes out. But I don't know if that was one of the issues he had last season, especially towards the end. But our rotation was pretty discombobulated last season and fell from losing Robbie Ray within a few innings of his season. And then Marco went down, and so we really had to rely on those young guys, Bryce and Brian, to pick up the slack. But that also meant that some of the slack had to be picked up by Castillo, Kirby, Gilbert. And now that we just know that Bryce and Brian are going to not have innings limits and they're going to be regulars in the rotation, hopefully that helps. Also helps that, in my opinion, we improved our offense from last season. I think, although it could still be streaky and injuries are going to be a problem potentially, I think we're going to be a lot more consistent, because that was kind of the big theme for last year. It's just we couldn't be consistent for a long period of time, pretty much other than August. As for Castillo specifically, I'm hoping that he can work a bit on that changeup this offseason and in spring training, and it could be a bit better for him, because it was easily his worst pitch of his arsenal. Had a -9 run value on Baseball Savant, had a 280 batting average against. It wasn't being hit hard very often, only a 27.3% hard hit rate. But it would be nice for that to improve a bit. Also, he has that fastball going for him, and we were kind of seeing towards the end that fastball, the 4-seam and 2-seam, mixing that up was helping him a lot. But overall, what do we need from Castillo this year? And simply put, we just need consistency. We need a rock in our rotation. That's what he was supposed to be last year, and especially towards the end, didn't feel like that. So that's really what we are going to be looking for from him. People were debating whether he was even really the ace of the rotation. You could make the case that George Kirby was. But at the end of the day, I'm hopeful that Castillo is going to have a better season this year. I know he probably wasn't happy with how his 2023 season ended. And I think that goes for a lot of people on the roster, and I'm hoping that they come into 2024 guns a-blazing, trying to make the changes needed to be elite at what they do. Not saying Castillo wasn't elite by any means, but it feels like there should be a bit more of a difference between Castillo and Kirby for him to be labeled the true ace of our rotation. So please comment down below, how do you think Luis Castillo is going to do this year? I would love to hear your opinions. The next episode of this is going to be over George Kirby. We're going to go through the rotation first, and then the offensive lineup, and then the bench and bullpen. That's how this is all going to play out. Like I said before, subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps me out a lot. You can leave a like as well. But that's going to be it for me for this video, and I will see you next time.